Respect. It's a powerful word, often given too freely or withheld too harshly. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors, had a lot to say about respect, not as a superficial courtesy, but as a reflection of one's values, character, and actions. Marcus believed that respect should be earned, not blindly given, and that there are certain behaviors that reveal a lack of integrity, wisdom, and self-discipline. Today, we dive into the teachings of Marcus Aurelius to uncover the 10 behaviors that should never command your respect. These are not just annoyances or petty flaws. They are actions that undermine the very essence of what it means to live a virtuous life. If you're ready to elevate your standards and align your respect with what truly matters, hit that subscribe button, and let's explore the wisdom that has guided leaders and thinkers for centuries. Do not respect those who seek praise over truth. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, held a deep reverence for truth, valuing it as one of the highest virtues one could embody. He believed that truth was the foundation of wisdom, integrity, and moral character. For Marcus, living in accordance with truth meant aligning one's actions, words, and thoughts with honesty and reality, even when it was difficult or unpopular. In contrast, he viewed those who seek praise over truth as fundamentally flawed. These individuals prioritize the approval of others above all else, bending their values and principles to gain superficial validation. They manipulate their words and actions, not to reflect what is right, but to please, to flatter, and to maintain a false image. This behavior not only deceives others, but also corrupts their own sense of self, leading them away from genuine personal growth and integrity. People who chase praise often live in a perpetual state of performance, constantly adjusting themselves to fit the expectations of those around them. They are not guided by an internal compass of what is right or true, but are instead swayed by the opinions and judgments of others. Marcus Aurelius warned against this because it leads to a life devoid of authenticity and purpose. He believed that truth should be sought for its own sake, not for the applause it might bring. In his writings, Marcus often reflected on the emptiness of seeking validation from others, recognizing that such a pursuit ultimately leaves one feeling hollow and unfulfilled. He saw truth as a light that guides us through life's complexities, while the pursuit of praise without substance is like chasing shadows, always elusive and never truly satisfying. Moreover, Marcus Aurelius taught that those who prioritize praise over truth often engage in behaviors that are damaging not just to themselves, but to society as a whole. They spread misinformation, avoid accountability, and shy away from difficult but necessary conversations. In doing so, they create environments where dishonesty and superficiality thrive. Marcus believed that such actions erode the fabric of personal and communal integrity, leading to a breakdown of trust and respect. To respect those who live this way is to endorse a culture of deceit, where appearance matters more than substance, and where fleeting applause is valued over lasting impact. Marcus would argue that such individuals should not be held in high regard because they represent everything that opposes the Stoic ideals of virtue, wisdom, and moral fortitude. One of Marcus Aurelius's greatest strengths was his relentless commitment to self-reflection and his willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about himself and the world. He believed that this kind of introspection was crucial to living a good life. In contrast, those who seek praise over truth avoid such introspection because it often reveals flaws and imperfections that don't align with the perfect image they try to present. They fear criticism and shy away from feedback that challenges their self-perception. Marcus saw this as a significant weakness, arguing that personal growth requires the courage to face truth, no matter how unflattering it may be. He believed that it is far better to be criticized for the truth than praised for a lie. For in truth lies the path to genuine improvement and wisdom. Ultimately, Marcus Aurelius would advise us to withhold respect from those who seek praise over truth, because their actions undermine the very principles that build a virtuous life. They prioritize ego over integrity, comfort over courage, and appearance over authenticity. These are not the qualities of a person worthy of respect or admiration. Instead, Marcus would encourage us to surround ourselves with those who value honesty, who are not afraid to speak the truth even when it is inconvenient, and who seek to grow through self-awareness rather than external validation. By aligning ourselves with truth seekers rather than praise seekers, we honor the Stoic ideals of wisdom, strength, and moral clarity, setting a standard for the kind of character that truly deserves respect. Do not respect those who gossip and spread rumors. Marcus Aurelius believed that our words are a reflection of our character and that they hold the power to build or destroy. Gossip and spreading rumors, to Marcus, were not just idle pastimes, but serious moral failings that erode trust, damage reputations, and spread negativity. He saw these behaviors as destructive forces that distract us from meaningful pursuits and diminish our integrity. In his view, those who engage in gossip do so not out of a genuine desire to share truth or wisdom, but out of a need to feel important, entertained, or superior. Marcus taught that such actions are unworthy of respect because they reveal a lack of self-discipline, wisdom, and empathy. Gossipers often prioritize sensationalism over sincerity and spectacle over substance, making them unreliable and untrustworthy individuals who contribute little to the greater good. Gossipers and rumor spreaders thrive on half-truths and assumptions, often distorting facts to suit their narrative or to provoke reactions. Marcus Aurelius would argue that this behavior stems from a lack of self-awareness and a deeper insecurity, where one finds pleasure in the misfortunes of others, rather than seeking to improve oneself. For Marcus, the wise person speaks thoughtfully and with purpose, understanding that words have consequences. He believed that idle talk and malicious spreading of unverified information serve no positive purpose and only sow discord and misunderstanding. Marcus's Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of directing our energy toward constructive actions and thoughts. Gossip, by contrast, is a waste of this precious energy, dragging us into the trivial and petty rather than elevating us towards wisdom and virtue. The Stoics were keenly aware of the social nature of humans, and Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the need to cultivate harmonious relationships grounded in respect and understanding. Gossip, however, undermines this principle by breeding distrust and resentment. When people engage in gossip, they create an environment of suspicion, where no one feels safe from judgment or betrayal. Marcus would caution against respecting those who spread rumors, because they tear at the fabric of community, setting people against each other and perpetuating cycles of negativity. Instead of contributing to a culture of respect and support, gossipers choose the path of division. For Marcus, respect is earned through actions that uplift, unite, and demonstrate integrity, not through words that harm, divide, and deceive. Furthermore, Marcus Aurelius believed in the power of silence and the importance of listening more than speaking. He often reflected on the value of speaking only when it serves a purpose, whether to offer insight, comfort, or truth. Gossipers, on the other hand, speak without such consideration, often saying whatever will get a reaction or draw attention. Marcus would argue that such behavior is a sign of weak character, one that is more concerned with momentary gratification than with lasting impact. He urged people to choose their words carefully, to speak less, and to listen more, understanding that wisdom often comes not from speaking, but from observing, reflecting, and learning. Respecting those who gossip is contrary to these principles, as it endorses a way of living that is shallow, careless, and ultimately destructive. Marcus Aurelius also believed in the Stoic ideal of focusing on what is within our control such as our actions, attitudes, and responses. Gossip and rumors often center on matters outside our control, other people's lives, choices, and private affairs. By engaging in these behaviors, individuals waste their potential on what does not concern them, instead of focusing on their own self-improvement and ethical conduct. Marcus would advise turning away from those who gossip and instead surrounding oneself with individuals who value integrity, who seek to better themselves, and who uplift others with their words. Ultimately, Marcus Aurelius would tell us not to respect those who gossip and spread rumors because they live contrary to the virtues that build a strong and honorable character. Their actions reveal a disregard for truth, a lack of empathy, and a willingness to harm others for personal gain or entertainment. By withholding respect from such individuals, we uphold the Stoic ideals of integrity, wisdom, and kindness, and we set a standard for the kind of discourse that truly builds a better, more respectful society. Do not respect those who manipulate for personal gain. Marcus Aurelius, in his reflections on virtue and character, held manipulation in deep contempt, viewing it as a betrayal of trust and integrity. To Marcus, manipulation was a clear sign of moral weakness, an indication that a person values their own desires above honesty, fairness, and the well-being of others. Manipulators twist the truth, exploit vulnerabilities, and use deceitful tactics to achieve their personal goals, often at the expense of others. For Marcus, these actions are not just unethical, they are antithetical to the principles of a virtuous life. He believed that true strength lies in being straightforward, honorable, and transparent, and that manipulation only serves to undermine these values. Those who manipulate do so because they lack the courage to pursue their aims through honest means, resorting instead to cunning and deception. Marcus would argue that such behavior is unworthy of respect because it erodes the foundations of trust and mutual respect that hold society together. Manipulation often stems from a deep-seated insecurity and a desire for control. People who manipulate for personal gain are often driven by a fear of failure or a need to prove themselves. But instead of working hard or improving their skills, they choose the easier path of deceit. Marcus Aurelius taught that integrity is about aligning one's actions with one's values, even when it's difficult. Manipulators, however, betray this principle, choosing to distort reality to suit their own ends. They are not guided by a moral compass, but by self-interest, willing to deceive, mislead, and exploit others to get what they want. Marcus would see this as a profound weakness, one that reflects a lack of self-discipline and respect for both oneself and others. He believed that respect is earned through authenticity and consistency in one's actions, not through deceitful tactics that undermine the trust of those around you. Marcus Aurelius also understood the importance of acting with virtue and serving the greater good, a concept that is entirely lost on those who manipulate. Manipulators often justify their actions by focusing solely on their own desires, ignoring the harm they cause in their pursuit of personal gain. They see people as tools to be used, rather than as individuals deserving of respect and consideration. This self-centered approach runs counter to the Stoic ideal of contributing positively to the community and acting with a sense of duty and responsibility. Marcus believed that each person has a role to play in the betterment of society, and manipulation is a direct affront to this purpose. By manipulating others, one not only fails to contribute meaningfully, but actively works against the collective well-being. Marcus Aurelius would advise that we should neither condone nor respect those who manipulate, because they embody the opposite of the virtues that define a good and honorable person. Manipulation creates a culture of mistrust, resentment, and conflict, where people are pitted against one another in a constant battle of hidden agendas and ulterior motives. Marcus valued honesty, humility, and cooperation, qualities that are utterly incompatible with manipulation. He believed that to earn respect, one must act with integrity, keep promises, and deal with others honestly, even when it is not the easiest or most profitable path. Manipulators, however, choose shortcuts that damage not just their relationships, but also their own character. Moreover, Marcus Aurelius recognized that manipulation often leads to a hollow victory. Success achieved through deceit is fragile and unsustainable, built on lies that eventually unravel. Manipulators may win in the short term, but they lose the respect of those around them and, ultimately, their own sense of self-worth. Marcus taught that it is far better to fail honestly than to succeed through dishonesty. For true fulfillment comes from knowing that you acted in accordance with your values. To respect a manipulator is to respect dishonesty, which Marcus would argue only serves to degrade one's own moral standards. Ultimately, Marcus Aurelius would urge us to withhold respect from those who manipulate for personal gain, because their actions are a betrayal of the virtues that define a life well lived. They undermine trust, harm others, and stray far from the path of integrity and honor. By refusing to respect manipulation, we uphold the Stoic values of honesty, fairness, and respect for others, setting a standard for the kind of character that deserves admiration and emulation. Marcus believed that true strength comes from living with integrity, not from manipulating others, and it is this principle that guides us in determining who is truly worthy of our respect. Do not respect those who disrespect others' boundaries. Marcus Aurelius deeply valued the principles of respect, personal space, and the integrity of one's autonomy. For Marcus, the ability to respect others' boundaries was a fundamental aspect of virtuous living, reflecting an understanding of the importance of mutual respect and consideration. Those who violate boundaries, whether through intrusive behavior, overstepping their role, or disregarding others' personal limits, demonstrate a lack of empathy and a sense of entitlement that Marcus found reprehensible. He believed that everyone has a right to their own space, decisions, and values, and that these should be honored, not infringed upon. To Marcus, those who disrespect boundaries act out of a self-centeredness that disregards the dignity of others, and such behavior is incompatible with the Stoic ideals of wisdom, respect, and humility. People who disrespect boundaries often do so because they prioritize their own needs, desires, or opinions over the rights and comfort of others. They intrude upon others' privacy, dismiss their feelings, or impose their will, seeing no value in the lines that others have drawn to protect themselves. This lack of respect not only damages relationships, but also fosters an environment of discomfort and mistrust. Marcus Aurelius taught that true respect involves recognizing and honoring the boundaries that others set, understanding that these boundaries are essential for maintaining healthy and respectful interactions. Those who overstep these limits reveal a lack of self-awareness and an inability to empathize with others, as they act on their own impulses without regard for the impact on those around them. In his writings, Marcus often reflected on the importance of self-control and the restraint needed to interact harmoniously with others. He emphasized that respecting boundaries is not just about following social norms, but about embodying the virtues of patience, understanding, and self-discipline. To Marcus, those who cannot respect boundaries are often driven by unchecked impulses, whether it's a need to dominate, to be heard at any cost, or to assert control over others. These actions are not just disruptive, they are fundamentally disrespectful because they undermine the autonomy and agency of others. Marcus Aurelius believed that living virtuously means acknowledging that others have their own paths, needs, and limits, and that these should be respected just as one would want their own boundaries to be honored. Disrespecting boundaries also reflects a deeper arrogance, an assumption that one's needs or beliefs are more important than those of others. Marcus Aurelius saw this as a serious moral failing, as it disrupts the social harmony that is essential for a well-functioning community. By respecting boundaries, we demonstrate humility, acknowledging that we do not have the right to control or intrude upon others. This humility fosters an environment of mutual respect, where individuals feel safe to express themselves and live according to their own values without fear of judgment or interference. Marcus would argue that to respect someone who repeatedly disrespects others' boundaries is to condone behavior that undermines the trust and respect necessary for healthy human interactions. Furthermore, Marcus Aurelius taught that boundaries are essential for self-preservation and personal growth. They are not merely protective barriers, but are also necessary for maintaining one's peace of mind and sense of self. People who violate boundaries often fail to see this, as they are driven by their immediate desires rather than a thoughtful consideration of the effects of their actions. Marcus would encourage us to protect our own boundaries just as fiercely as we respect those of others, recognizing that both are crucial for maintaining balance, respect, and well-being. Respecting boundaries is a two-way street, and those who fail to do so reveal a lack of the basic virtues that Marcus Aurelius championed throughout his life. Ultimately, Marcus Aurelius would advise against respecting those who consistently disregard others' boundaries, as their actions reflect a disregard for the principles of mutual respect, empathy, and self-control. These individuals prioritize their own needs over the well-being of others, disrupting the harmony that Marcus believed was essential for a virtuous and fulfilling life. By withholding respect from those who disrespect boundaries, we uphold the Stoic ideals of integrity, humility, and respect for individual autonomy, setting a standard for the kind of behavior that is truly worthy of admiration. For Marcus, respect is earned through the consistent practice of honoring others' space and limits, demonstrating the kind of moral character that not only respects boundaries, but also builds trust, fosters understanding, and cultivates genuine human connection. Do not respect those who avoid responsibility. Marcus Aurelius, a philosopher-emperor who constantly reflected on the virtues of duty and accountability, had little respect for those who shirk their responsibilities. To Marcus, embracing responsibility was a fundamental aspect of living a virtuous and honorable life. He believed that each individual has a role to play, whether in their personal relationships, their work, or their contributions to society. Those who avoid responsibility are not just failing in their duties. They are betraying the very principles that sustain a functional and ethical society. Marcus taught that evading responsibility reflects a lack of courage, integrity, and respect for others, and he viewed it as a moral weakness that erodes trust, damages relationships, and prevents personal growth. When individuals refuse to own their actions, they not only undermine their own character, but also burden those around them, forcing others to pick up the slack for their failures. Avoiding responsibility often stems from fear of failure, fear of criticism, or fear of the effort required to fulfill one's obligations. However, Marcus Aurelius believed that true strength lies in facing these fears head-on, taking ownership of one's duties, and accepting the consequences of one's actions. He often wrote about the importance of confronting challenges with a sense of duty and a willingness to learn from mistakes, rather than running from them. For Marcus, it was not the mistakes themselves that defined a person, but how they responded to them. Those who avoid responsibility often do so by deflecting blame, making excuses, or pretending that their actions, or lack thereof, have no impact. This behavior is not only dishonest, but deeply dishonorable, as it shows a refusal to engage with life's inevitable difficulties and a failure to contribute meaningfully to the world around them. Marcus Aurelius also saw the avoidance of responsibility as a sign of selfishness. Those who dodge their obligations often prioritize their own comfort and convenience over the needs of others, neglecting the fact that their actions or inactions affect more than just themselves. This self-centered approach is in direct opposition to the Stoic ideals of community, service, and interconnectedness. Marcus believed that each person has a duty not just to themselves, but to their fellow human beings, and that shirking responsibilities weakens the bonds of trust and cooperation that hold society together. To respect someone who consistently avoids responsibility is to endorse a behavior that undermines collective well-being and promotes a culture of evasion and neglect. Moreover, Marcus Aurelius viewed responsibility as an opportunity for personal growth and self-improvement. He believed that taking responsibility, even when it is difficult or uncomfortable, is a powerful way to develop resilience, wisdom, and character. Those who avoid responsibility miss out on these opportunities, choosing the path of least resistance rather than the path that leads to true self-mastery. By embracing responsibility, we confront our weaknesses, learn from our failures, and become better equipped to handle the challenges of life. In contrast, avoiding responsibility keeps us stagnant, trapped in a cycle of avoidance that stifles personal development and leads to a life of unfulfilled potential. Marcus would argue that respect is earned not by avoiding challenges, but by meeting them with integrity and resolve. Ultimately, Marcus Aurelius would urge us to withhold respect from those who avoid responsibility, as their actions reflect a lack of the very virtues that define a respectable person. Responsibility is not just a burden, it is a privilege and a testament to our commitment to ourselves and to others. Those who embrace responsibility demonstrate courage, accountability, and a willingness to grow, while those who avoid it reveal a fundamental disregard for these values. By refusing to respect those who evade their duties, we uphold the Stoic principles of duty, honor, and integrity, setting a standard for what it truly means to live a life of purpose and respect. Marcus believed that to respect oneself and others, one must first take responsibility for one's actions, choices, and role in the world. Only then can we build the kind of character that is worthy of true respect. As we circle back to the start, remember the actions and behaviors that Marcus Aurelius warned us about. The qualities he cautioned against are not just flaws in others, but reminders of what we must guard against in ourselves. Perhaps you recognized some of these traits in the people around you, or maybe even within. But now you stand at a pivotal moment, aware and ready to decide what kind of respect you offer, and more importantly, what kind of character you will uphold. The choice is yours. Will you continue to respect actions that undermine integrity, or will you set a new standard for yourself and those around you? Don't just leave this behind as another lesson learned. Apply it. Take action today, even if it's just reflecting on your own standards. Respect isn't just something we give, it's something we live. What will you do with this knowledge? As you think about the people in your life and the choices you make, ask yourself, are you aligning with the values that truly matter? Are you honoring the kind of person Marcus Aurelius would have respected? Or are you letting the actions of others dictate your own standards? The real question remains, what kind of person are you choosing to be in the face of these lessons? Remember, true respect isn't just given, it's earned through actions, choices, and the courage to live with integrity. Respect isn't about status or outward success. It's about the quiet strength to stand firm in your values, even when it's hard. Life's greatest lessons aren't found in fleeting praise or empty gestures, but in the way we choose to live each day. Just like the sculptor chiseling away at stone, every decision, every act of respect, shapes the masterpiece of your character. The final form isn't dictated by the flaws you start with, but by the persistence to carve out something worthy, something real. The chisel is in your hands. What will you create? Imagine a life where your respect is a reflection of your highest values, where you hold yourself and others to a standard that builds rather than tears down. A life where integrity guides every interaction, and respect isn't just something you give, but something you live. That life isn't far away. It's just one decision, one action away. What kind of future will you build with the respect you choose to offer? This journey doesn't end here. In fact, it's only the beginning. Continue to reflect, to question, and to elevate your standards. Keep challenging yourself and those around you to live up to the ideals Marcus Aurelius set forth. You've started on a path that leads not just to greater respect for others, but greater respect for yourself. Walk it with purpose, conviction, and the courage to demand more. Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. What resonates with you? What will you change in your life? Your insights could inspire someone else to rethink their own journey. And if this message struck a chord, hit the like button. It's a simple action, but it's a commitment to your own growth. Subscribe to keep this conversation going, because this isn't just about learning, it's about living. What kind of respect will you create today?